Hey guys, tonight we are stepping back into the bustling, slightly smelly streets of ancient Rome to uncover a lesser-known slice of everyday life, the world of Roman laundry workers. Picture this: narrow alleys lined with shops, horse-drawn carts clattering over cobblestones, and the unmistakable aroma of, you might want to hold your nose, ammonia rising from massive clay vats. Yes, welcome to the laundromat of antiquity, where workers are deeply engrossed in transforming dingy tunics into spotless attire, a task so arduous you probably won't survive this. But let's suspend disbelief and dig into this peculiar blend of enterprise and ingenuity. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is in your neck of the woods. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. As you walk through Rome's heart, your senses are assaulted by the sights and sounds of ancient life. Stalls brim with olive oil and fresh produce while people chat animatedly in Latin. But your destination is a grimy corner where workers toil away at Pandecti, a Roman laundromat, buzzing with activity. Here, laundry tasks are considered both an art and a necessity, a testament to the efficiency required in a society teetering between grandeur and decay. In this peculiar establishment, garments experience a second life at the hands of skilled and unflagging laborers. These workers, known as full ones, were the unsung heroes of keeping Rome presentable as they toiled away amidst the hustle. They scurried around the establishment, hands plunged deep in frothy tubs filled with mysterious concoctions, including, believe it or not, fermented urine. Yes, here in the heart of the Eternal City, urine was not just waste but a prized detergent. As unconventional as it seems, urine had an imperative role in Roman laundry. It was collected fresh and left to decompose, creating ammonia, a compound that, when mixed with water and agitated with clothes, lifted away dirt and oils like a charm. Never fear, today's hygienic standards differ greatly from those of Roman times, though these workers were unwittingly on the forefront of chemistry. Your tour continues as you glide past full ones vigorously working their way through heaps of clothes. Some stomp on them with their feet, while others scrub fervently. The whole process might remind you of a peculiar grape-crushing scene, though much less appetizing. As you take in this peculiar scene, it's crucial to note that these laundries were indispensable for maintaining both the cleanliness and the appearance of the Roman populace, a society obsessed with status and refinement. After all, a soiled tunic could mean social disaster in a city where appearance was everything. In these Roman laundries, everyone had their role. Young boys ran errands, carrying bundles of clothes to clients, while seasoned laborers handled the more complex work. Yet, surprisingly, there was a sense of satisfaction derived from performing this essential service, earning them a respectable, albeit humble, standing within the community. Historians often paint Rome as a hub of luxury and excess, but stories from within these laundries offer a counter-narrative, a testament to the underpinnings of a society wholly reliant on its working class. Travelers from distant lands would remark on the relentless hum of activity within Rome, enchanted by its architectural marvels, but puzzled by the persistent, pungent aroma of freshly cleaned clothes hanging to dry. The industry ran like clockwork, its cogs greased by the relentless determination of full ones who knew that each day brought another mountain of garments to conquer. It was a life of simplicity and toil, but one that bridged families together in a shared duty, supporting the grand structures and political machines of their time, from the grand baths of Caracalla to the teeming forums. So here, amidst the sulphurous plumes emerging from tiled domes, the melodious clinks of Roman coins, the rows of fading frescoes, and the corridors echoing with the guttural chants of laborers, you've begun to uncover the fascinating, albeit prosaic, tale of Rome's washing wonders. But hold on, there's much more to explore in this historical laundromat of humanity. Get ready as we delve deeper into how something some might see as mundane can add so much color, quite literally, to history's expansive tapestry. Stepping further into the dazzlingly industrious world of Roman laundries, you find yourself unearthing the secret ingredient that ironically holds this sanitary universe together: urine. Yes, while modern minds might wrinkle their noses, to the Romans, urine was liquid gold for their fulling tubs. Imagine a bustling Roman street where public urinals, known as vici, were more than just conveniences, they were the start of a cleaning revolution. Gathered with a dash of tact and a systematic approach, urine was a commodity in ancient Rome. How did it all begin, you ask? Picture it, men peering around for public vesicki, contributing their share and sometimes even selling it. It turns out that each splash into the communal pot was a step towards turning soiled garments into signs of prestige. Urine's alchemy lay in its ammonia content, a powerful agent against grease and grime. Ammonia, a compound you might recognize from your kitchen cleaner, leaves you squirming at the thought of its origins. Yet, this naturally occurring solution made urine an innovative tool, hair dye for the poor, leather softener for the trades, and, of course, an essential part of the laundry process. Imagine the bizarre collection process: shimmering amphorae filled with urine carted through town, sloshing beneath the watchful eyes of collectors. Roman tax laws had peculiarities enough to keep you on your toes, and the urine tax, or vectigal urine, was among them. Emperor Vespasian, famously pragmatic, implemented this levy, reportedly declaring that pecunia non olet, money doesn't stink. And while the citizens might have disagreed with the aromatic part of his statement, the tax surely filled the imperial coffers with unspoken riches. Those urine collectors you see, trudging along with their brimming containers, played a pivotal role. Their livelihood depended on this pungent liquid, connecting them to vital economic gears spinning beneath Rome's bustling surface. Daily life in Rome was a symbiotic puzzle of trade and tasks, each seemingly strange piece fitting into the expansive Roman mosaic. Picture the scene where, beyond the storied gladiatorial bouts and political intrigues, these collectors go from household to household, collecting the most unconventional of taxes. Homeowners spared a moment, offering their contributions with chuckles and shared glances. Knowing laughter fills the air, embodying community spirit mixed with the multi-sensory hustle characteristic of Roman living. Historians still argue whether Vespasian's tax was mockingly genius or simply exploitative of everyone's basic needs. Regardless, it remains a testament to Roman practicality, an efficient way for waste to benefit the communal good. Once collected, urine made its way to Phalonici, the fuller's workshops, combining with other ingredients to form part of the Roman fulling philosophy. The liquid, left to ferment, achieved the chemical prowess needed to lift stains effectively. The fullers treaded clothes underfoot, mixing them in broad tubs brimming with this effervescent concoction, chanting in rhythm to lighten their intensely physical task. The act was a dance, a rigorous and rhythmic ritual, grinding away the mundane fabric of life, both literally and metaphorically. By now, you must sense the layered dynamics in play. Workers stomp on clothes enveloped in ammonia vapor, while the hubbub of the Roman world thrums around them, underlining the bedrock of tradition interwoven with ingenuity. It's worth reflecting, Rome's urban sprawl thrived not just on its marvels above ground, but importantly on these everyday chores, draping dignity afresh over its colossal marble shoulders. Despite this pungent reality, insiders held their noses and found humor among the fumes. Such utilities illustrate the lengths Romans went to, maintaining social norms determined by finely kept appearances. The irony of this prized pungency coloring their fabric and social fabric alike is not lost on us today, though it may well have been then. The efflorescent blend of perspiration mingling with the city's aroma created a wholly unique universe. And even amid such smells, another kind of magic took place, a remarkable enactment of both chemistry and community seldom celebrated yet humanly significant. As we unravel this tale, remember, sometimes peculiar ingredients lead to valuable results, proving just how versatile resources and ingenuity can be at any epoch. So gear up as we step through this sudsy saga, deeper into Roman laundry lore, uncovering the next echelon of fastidious craftsmanship inside this age-old civilization. Now, let's wander through the labyrinth of ancient Rome and come face to face with another curious character in this tale, the urine collector. These individuals were central figures in the sanitation symphony, crafting a livelihood from what society deemed waste, proving that one person's trash truly can be another's treasure. Imagine the scene: the urine collectors carry their large vessels, weaving through the streets of Rome with a task unmistakable in both aroma and purpose. It might seem bizarre now, but back then, it was part and parcel of life. They were like urban hunters, scouring for their golden liquid and gathering it from the public urinals found throughout the marketplaces and neighborhoods. These urinals, or vesicki, were strategically positioned in high-traffic areas, making it convenient for everyone in this teeming metropolis to contribute. Contributing wasn't just an act of civic duty but also a requirement, thanks to the foresight taxation introduced by Emperor Vespasian. As we witnessed, this innovation wasn't as much about public relief, pun intended, as it was about transforming everyday city waste into empire-wide utility. Collectors, let's call them the original recyclers, had their patrolling spots, mastering efficient routes and knowing just when the marbled populace would most likely relieve themselves. Approaching their collection points, they transferred the liquid into larger storage vessels, ready to march back to the bustling Folonicae with their aromatic bounty. Picture them slipping through an alley, blending with the daily market hustle, almost invisible outside of their infamous roles. During the journey, they balanced their loads, mummy-style, on their shoulders or secure in carts, ensuring not a drop was lost, an effort appreciated, albeit with noses crinkled, by diligent full ones awaiting their delivery. These collectors not only ensured a steady supply for the fulling process but also participated in a secondary economy. It was a peculiar mesh of service and trade where waste was currency, a recycled utility serving as a building block in Rome's complex societal edifice. Our historical imagination strikes at the heart of this urine trade, provoking curiosity around buyer-seller dynamics in a seemingly unorthodox marketplace. Do deals manifest at that mystical intersection of need and availability, or do collectors merely conduct straightforward transactions as patrons deposit into communal reserves? Historians still argue whether these materials factored into sordid underdealings or remained firmly within society's norms. The debate sprinkles even more pungent fascination over our narrative, something to ponder when attempting to explain human economic ingenuity throughout the ages. Collectors were paid by laundries based on quantity delivered, perhaps even forming friendly, if nose-wrinkled, rivalries akin to modern supply races for prized contracts. These dynamic exchanges highlight the unseen continuity beneath culture's nighttime veil, a commercial flow reminiscent of bizarre lifeblood through Rome's sinews. Though the collectors may not have worn laurel crowns, nor their deeds etched gloriously in history's grand annals, their role was essential. Every drop transported was a testament to Rome's gritty practicality, turning necessity into a mother of invention. And from this pragmatism sprung a fascinating mode of economic expression, one where humorously simple concepts changed entire systems. As their vessels swayed beneath the ancient sky, twin togas unfurling in agora breezes, the collectors remain a touchstone for the economic mundanities hiding behind imperial facades. Before our eyes, Roman streets transform into lively theater setups where life's drama soared beyond the grandiose to the nitty-gritty pulse of survival. These urine tradesmen pave intricate tales amid Rome's enduring roads, tales vibrant with civic duty reimagined through less than illustrious ventures. You've just scratched the surface, meeting the backbone of Roman ingenuity wrapped in humility's mantle. As our narrative deepens, let's continue exploring the vibrant, albeit unusual, soul of Roman industry. Next, through the lens of those central to the grandeur clothes take on their second lives, the full ones. Moving deeper into the sweat and grime of ancient Rome's industrious inner workings, it's time to shine the spotlight on the true artisans of transformation, the fullers or full ones, whose dedicated hands and feet spun magic from the mundane. Within the buzzing fabric of Roman life, these workers were tasked with a responsibility that went beyond mere cleanliness. They revitalized Rome's sartorial identity daily. Picture this: as you step into a Follonica, you are greeted by a cacophony of sounds. The rhythmic stomping, chattering chatter of workers, and the unmistakable splash of water. The scent of ammonia hangs heavy, a reminder of the chemical processes underway, while the luminescent reflections of daylight dance across vats filled with garments undergoing their restorative metamorphosis. Full ones operated more than just laundromats, they were the custodians of an ancient art. Their process, at once rudimentary and sophisticated, renders today's dry cleaners pale by comparison. The coolest fact tucked in this sudsy spectacle? Rome recognized this craft as essential to its cosmopolitan nobility from the get-go. The fuller's skills straddled a world between chemistry and labor, with each step methodically designed to rejuvenate weathered attire. These laundries brimmed with life, each fuller a cog in an intricate machine. The work began with sorting, garments examined for both fabric and degree of dirtiness. Important tunics, togas, and stolas were carefully isolated, prepared for the most intensive treatment. It was an art infused with science, crafted skills passed down like treasured heirlooms, and a precise manual labor that bordered on poetic. In the initial cleansing stage, workers swiftly submerged garments in tubs filled with the prepared urine solution. This frothy mixture catalyzed the release of oils and stubborn grime clinging to fabric fibers. Then, to complete the mechanical aspect, full ones would agitate the clothes, treading them underfoot in a dance as old as textile craftsmanship itself. The stepping, a veritable clothes stomp reminiscent of pressing grapes, became an ancient performance where chemistry met community effort. Amid the laundry's bustling stations, fullers rhythmically stomped away, their song echoing through the tub-laden halls. And in these rhythmic moments, their shared purpose rose above the pungent chemicals, bonds forged stronger than any detergent. Suddenly, it wasn't just laundry, it was culture distilled into motion. Once the initial washing completed, the garments emerged from the tubs to be rinsed in running water. A critical step that echoes the rinse cycles you might lovingly observe when mesmerized by your laundry room's spinning wonders. This stage required precision. The rinse was essential to extracting the ammonia residue, leaving textiles refreshed and ready for the next phase. Following this, garments were passed over to skilled hands for brushing and beating, more manual labor to shake out impurities. Pounding garments with mallets smoothed the wrinkles, adding a fresh luster. Workers lined them to dry beneath Rome's sun-kissed skyline, alternating turns with delicate inventory to ensure nothing marred the beauty of their hard labor. Culminating every endeavor, the clothes were laid out in raised drying areas, often rooftops, strategically positioned to capture optimal sunlight. Roman roofs filled with garments swaying like colorful flags against azure skies, representing civic pride in its most personable sense. And then came finishing touches, the application of fuller's earth or chalk powders. These absorbed lingering grease and rendered a polished sheen, completing garments' odyssey from drab to wondrous. Each one, upon dawning, became an extension of Rome's grandeur, a reawakened symbol of status, crafted meticulously from nature's own design. Isn't it fascinating how, enveloped in fabric's weave, a story depicts millennia-old brilliance of humanity weaving comfort from ingredients deemed odorous? While ancient fashions might withdraw amidst obscurity, the timeless dance of full ones continues in whispers, improving what society unjustly regards as imperfection. Thus, celebrated within its threads, the rich narrative of Roman textile arts conveys a universal truth: devotion and camaraderie transform everyday toil into cherished legacy. Though perspectives shift, the rhythmic heartbeat of relentless diligence, echoing alongside revolutionary practicality, reminds us how simple acts cleanse not just garments but eras in turn. Prepare now to chase the footfalls of these unsung champions as we journey further into Roman laundries, exploring the bustling spaces they inhabited and the vibrant communities they served. As you continue your exploration of Roman laundries, let us peer more closely into the bustling hive of activity and uncover the secrets of their washing processes, an operation renowned for its ingenuity and efficiency in weaving order from the chaos of wear and tear. Envision entering a Phalanaka, the vibrant heart of garment restoration in antiquity. The room is alive with activity, each station bustling with full ones engaged in their well-practiced rituals. The air is thick with a sense of purpose and, yes, ammonia, a true olfactory feat survived by the stalwart industrial Egyptians. The timeless dance of cleansing begins. These laundries weren't just spaces of commerce but arenas of profound transformation. Here, full ones demonstrated remarkable skill devoted to the unglamorous pursuit of cleanliness. Their craft was so deeply woven into society that it touched every corner of life, from weaving new social narratives to draping emperors in pristine whites. The process begins as garments are sorted, prioritized by fabric type and grime level. Each tunic or toga represents a person's status and pride, so their transformation from soiled disgrace to gleaming attire is a matter of personal and professional importance. Often, heavy robes bore the brunt of Rome's dusty campaigns, covered in tales of conquest or the remnants of celebratory banquets. Each piece embarking on its purification journey allowed for stories once obscured by dirt to emerge anew. Fullers first immerse garments in those infamous vats of urine, where the ammonia works its alchemical magic. It's this initial bath that softens the fabric, lifting oils and deep-seated stains. There's a rhythmic nature to Foulon's labor that transcends the mere back and forth of cleaning. Each garment washed becomes a testament to reshaped beginnings, free from past blemishes. Following the initial soak, the garments are manually agitated or treaded upon in a unique trample that makes today's spin cycles look supremely tame. Workers use their feet, not out of whimsy but necessity, stirring cloths vigorously to ensure every fiber is cleansed, akin to needing a vigorously doughy accompaniment. Once the manual trampling concludes, there's a transitional immersion, as the once transformed fabric takes a second plunge, gently coaxed into waters free from impurities. This strategic rinse both purges the ammonia and renews the cloth, leaving behind a limpid relief from respiratory offenses accumulated through life's Roman revelries. Whispering through the air are myths of soaps more mythological than practical concoctions. On occasion, ashes or clay supplemented the urine's cleaning power, enriching the brew simmering in Roman sunbeams, a nod towards nature's abundance and humanity's boundless resourcefulness. After rinsing, workers command the garments through a gauntlet of beatings, shaking down stubborn residues, followed by smoothing strokes from paddles. It's a symphony of rhythms, intensely physical yet profoundly skilled. Each strike and brush refines texture, restoring life to weary textiles through tactile harmony. Finally, the transformation culminates beneath Rome's sun. The slightest breeze kisses the drying garments atop majestic rooftops, giving breath to fiber for cosmic transience. These clothes gardens have historically captured imagination. Each rooftop tableau holds a tire born anew, visible testaments to communal labor rising like phoenixes against azure ceilings. Yet, fullers guard their art in finer detailing. Those who wish apply final touches. Seeding garment holds tiny dabs with fuller's earth or chalk. This practice declines in external weight but ascends in restorative brilliance, matching nature's silken shimmer with civilization-bound glory. Within these rinse and repeat beauty quests, every piece carries the hidden narratives of Rome's ambitions and alliances, each concentric ripple in water a retelling without words, testimonies of fabric bearing witness to ages of plebeian frolics and patrician decrees. In reveries steeped in suds and toil, the eternal city's clamor is enriched by those unseen artisans whose lives were an ongoing canvas of invention and adaptation, making Rome as alive today as it was those centuries ago. And as the sun sets over Rome's ancient facades, casting both shadow and insight, there lies evidence of craft that guides us further into the buried tales of washing's unsung heroes. They lead you onward to the mysterious whereabouts of these laundries and their vibrant place in Roman society. As you take a deeper dive into the ancient Roman laundromat world, the focus shifts. It's time to explore the very ground where these bustling establishments set their roots, the crucial locations that weren't mere marks on a map but hubs of social and economic activity, seamlessly woven into Rome's fabric. Imagine the cityscape, where ancient Rome sprawls before you, teeming with life. Amid the grandeur of towering temples and the hum from markets echoing with sellers' shouts, you find more subtle signs of daily civilization. Tucked into these industrious streets are the Tunics, laundries nestled into the city's nooks and crannies, integral cogs in its daily routines. Like veins invisibly carrying lifeblood throughout a body, these laundries hum behind the more public facades of Roman life. Tunics were strategically placed, located where demand was constant and varied, from well-trodden avenues leading to the bustling forums to the art-laden districts where nobility frequented the baths. In Pompeii, the ruins of several Tunics still whisper tales of garments reborn under their care. You can almost hear their resonance in bustling ruins, where industrial hum once churned alongside human laughter. These vital hubs were more than places of work, they were interactive spaces, crossroads where gossip mingled with lie, where the day's hot talk was woven into cloth being cleansed, and relationships were as much nurtured as garments. The laundries also served as vital rest stops for itinerant Romans, drawn by the promise of returned frocks, discussions rich with opinion, and whispers that even amphitheater audiences couldn't rival. Social glue in every scrap and suture, laundries stretched fabric through time as deftly as society sews moments together. Picture the communal nature of residences in these areas, neighbors and merchants creating a living tapestry of everyday melodrama around these laundries. Here, laundry wasn't just a chore, it was an event, underscoring communal solidarity and agile efficiency amid Rome's ever-accelerating pace. In larger cities, These laundries also stood as semi-independent districts, symbolically imbued with Rome's bridal ground, a profession adapted to balance needs against civic values. As core economic contributors, their location radiated importance, anchoring essential networks under very public realities, turning them into bustling nodes along Rome's merchant routes. Interestingly, their relative omnipresence spoke to Rome's sanitation priorities. Pholonici delivered threads spun into local matters of pride and need. In itself, evidence of Roman civilization's complex stances on materiality and social mores, visible today mainly through archaeological remains hinting at busy local networks and the relentless pursuit of purified grace. Historians still argue whether these Pholonici were deliberately positioned for strategic supply routes and distribution or cheekily scattered among lesser-visited sectors for olfactory leniency, debates tinging scholarly tomes with humanity's vibrant adaptability. Rome's finest garments often underwent their transformative journeys near temples or grander avenues, represented by their own patron deities. Pholonici operated under divine protection, attended temples like those of Venus Verticordia, whose whispers vindicated clothes freshening as a spiritual cleansing in its own right. These laundries not only cleansed fabrics but drenched society's stratifications in aspirational tides. Prestige clung to drapery in winds both literal and figurative, soothing the populace as renewed fabric shattered former missteps. Lanes once soiled spun spotless tapestries hung high for all to share. In essence, wandering through Rome's thoroughfares isn't just about witnessing stone retaining historical context. Retrieval emerges from those industrious enclaves where colored fluff oscillates between civic duty and pride, in both rings and immortals dancing like Pygmalion's craft across the empire's grand space. Layers insightfully echo today's exchanges eternally timed. Now, perfect your senses as night falls over the city, balancing spectacular wonder with perfumed whiffs, a recipe restoring deeds odorous, but transformative, one more compelling chapter moment embedded within Rome's vigorous, ancient everyday. The laundry's story doesn't end here, for as much as they formed the city's textile backbone, they took creativity and adaptability to new heights. Stay eager, for our journey continues through alternative methods of cleaning and the artistry of dye that turned garments into masterpieces. As your journey continues, we pause to consider the inventive minds of Rome's launderers and delve into their secret arsenal. Soap substitutes and cleaning techniques that could give today's green movement an enthusiastic thumbs up. With the meticulous art underway in the city's bustling Pholonici, the Romans needed more than just urine and muscle. Enter ingenious, alternative cleaning methods. Like a modern laboratory experimenting with solvents, each fuller's workshop buzzed with innovation. These ancient chemists knew that sometimes a little creativity, arm in arm with practicality, could elevate their craft. Let's spotlight a few of these ingenious solutions, concocted long before the crisp originality bumper sticker came along. Picture humble plants like the ones dotting Roman gardens, their secret worth more than their size. Take the saponaria, or soapwort for example, whose leaves and roots held nature's own foaming action. Bubbles arose from mere contact with water, a silent reverence to their unassuming yet powerful cleaning potential. Crush it, rouge it into water, and watch as grime retreats before this botanical foe. Not satisfied? Try those run-of-the-mill cooking ingredients. Fats and ashes mixed determinately canvas the landscape with natural soap. The Romans unwittingly stepped forward towards lye-based creations, among the first whispers of what future generations would refine into soap. Fats and oils, leftovers from kitchens or butchers, combined with ashes to induce brave little reactions when wetted. These may seem like rudimentary concoctions, but their alchemy rivaled any modern chemical equation in elegance. Amid their exploratory practicality, Romans discovered another transformative enhancer: fuller's earth. This clay-like substance, ubiquitous like today's car keys, became a cleanser of value. Fuller's earth, rich in mineral compounds, absorbed oil and dirt from fabrics unprecedentedly. It represents an environmental touch, exposing the origins of modern clean leaves while turning Rome's fortunes toward mineral mastery without props absurd. The vibrant allure of Fuller's earth lay not only in its cleaning prowess but also its malleable artistry. Mixes could swirl in diverse shades, adjusting garments' final hues toward the delicate spectrum of Roman finery. Each swatch of color grade more meaningful than a sleeve's length took hold within fashion's earliest cradle. When in need of bleach's touch, Romans turned to sulfur, a component readily available in the geothermal hotspots of Italy's landscape. It wasn't just a rhetorical blazing force but a triumph outside Vulcan's forge. Sulfur fumes, carefully harnessed, brightened garments through sophisticated bleaching processes, coaxing brightness from even the humblest of linen robes. With these various elements orchestrated into an artist's palette of practicality, fullers could turn sullied drapery back into proud forms of beauty. These techniques bring to life an alchemy at once significant and sincere, proof of ingenuity where necessity pushed thought towards ingenuity. What about that craft core making life more complete through fabric artistry? We mustn't forget the Romans turned dyeing into a vivid representation, coloring the world with dyes pressed from nature's bounty. Natural dyes derived from indigo, madder roots, or even the crimson hug of cochineal insects, painted masterpieces upon the fabric once cleansed in bustling Phalanaki. Amid those mighty amphitheaters and hallowed temples, garments weren't simply revived, they were reborn, strengthened by hue's signaling status. Employing color on Roman fabrics mimicked the city's vibrancy, a message writ loudly that silks and velvets waved wherever invigorated citizens gathered. These forged alliances of chemicals, cloth, and care extended beyond garments. They entered whispers in households, adorned salons, ensconced parties in brilliance, and brought neighbors closer than veiled alleyways coyly permitted, all in service of Roman determinations wrought from nothingness into everything. While our modern acumen schemes ancient mysteries, Romans patiently explored through exploration, adopted swiftly changing practices demanding equilibrium, and nurtured a harmony threading past joys through future scenes. Now, follow the weave onward into color and craft as our journey uncovers even greater rewards at Rome's creative crossroads. Stay focused, for the dyeing arts bring depth to this cultural tapestry. As the Roman sky stretches above, your path meanders toward the kaleidoscopic realm of dyeing arts, a vibrant world wherein Roman imagination flourished, bringing garment dyeing to a technicolor crescendo. Here, amid the earthy tones and noble whites, burst vivid blues, deep reds, and lush purples once reserved for only the boldest and most illustrious of Romans. This extraordinary phase of the textile journey unveils artistry's heart, beat by the hands of dedicated artisans. Imagine walking through the dyeing section of a Phalanaka, where the air thickens with steam and color. Vats bubble eagerly, brimming with concoctions derived from a multitude of peculiar and precious sources. These are the hues that would drape senators, grace the theater's dramatics, or perhaps speak of triumph for a newly minted general returning victorious. Dive first into the strikingly regal Tyrian purple, a shade so exclusive that it became synonymous with imperial power. Not for the faint of heart or cash-strapped individuals, this color came from extracting the esoteric murex snail, native only to Mediterranean waters. Imagine the painstaking process. Tens of thousands of these tiny creatures needed for mere ounces of dye. Their secretions subjected to delicate exposure, transforming into a dye deep enough to adorn emperors with its palpable aura of authority. From royal purples, turn your gaze to indigo, a blue from the heart of land and flora. This natural dye, sourced from plants like woad and indigofera, unveiled a captivating blue on Roman fabrics, evoking the heavens and the sea alike. Its extraction involved soaking plants in water until fermentation released the dye's potent color. Innovative practices retained its striking hue on textiles long after exposure, a testament to Rome's aesthetic explorations working alongside nature's profound beauty. What if one desired passionate reds mirroring the empire's fervor? Enter madder root, also known as rubia, a prolific dye whose chromatic warm embrace echoes fiery Roman spectacles. Re-establishing terrestrial roots reigns supreme as madder's extract created vibrant gradients hugging fabrics boldly. This humble plant had dual duties, not only fabric and textile, but an embrace for the decorative elements of Roman society. Even ornate greens and yellows featured prominently, drawn from weld or the infusion of saffron, a color in celebration upon garments transcending ordinary, elevated to radiant life captured beneath Rome's expansive skies. Weld calmly whispered verdant promises, dressing spaces eagerly copying life's stretch, testimony to nature's abundant wealth targeting our curated aesthetics. Among dyeing arts, natural pigments harmonized with garments' ancient fashions, illustrating dedication meeting creativity through earthy resources. These colors danced through Roman culture, weaving narratives far broader than mere threads and dye baths. Expressions of class, status, and identity fused within their colorful offsets, generating defined shapes across intertwined motifs adorning society's daily pageantry. Historians still argue whether the intricate dyeing techniques demonstrated Rome's craft superiority or merely imitated practices from their multicultural domain. Nevertheless, these vivid hues symbolized their culturally driven force field, anchored in traditional methods cyclically revered. And yet, this vibrancy echoes worry nestled within friendly confines, that individual agency over curiosity may fall alongside Roman supremacy, as easily dredging irreplaceable dyes is neither light nor trivial enterprise. Hard work, exacting patience marshaled processes crafting fabrics that satisfy both noble desire and prosaic sensibility. But more than matching grandeur with garment grandeur, Roman creativity flourished millennia past its transplantation. Echoes linger future generations, kissing archaeologists' relets through rainbowed discoveries, bypassing age's parenthesis gently circling life's passages. Within these dye palaces, Rome expressed itself not through stones alone but by mastery in colorful compositions, forever preserved in threads bestowing cultural couture. So, let yourself be drawn onward through vibrant corridors, tidal fibers swirling through picturesque landscapes, flourishing with renewed aspiration that lines the elegant drapery of possibility. Consider the tales garments tell when vibrant color courses through their veins, as every tunic tells an epic through dyes less empirically, quixotically imperishable. Stay with us. Next we'll delve into the rigors and challenges faced by Roman launderers as their dedication fed a city's boundless whispers, guiding resilient hands to transcend trials time after cherished time. In the heart of Rome, amidst the ceaseless swirl of its grandiloquence, we pause to acknowledge the less glamorous but vital aspects of life in a Roman laundromat. Here, beneath the symphony of stomping feet and bubbling vats, lay the untold stories of challenges faced by the full ones. These launderers, while pivotal, endured a host of difficulties that came packaged with their demanding craft. Imagine standing by the workstations, the vibrant chatter muted by relentless toil as bare feet rhythmically squelch in wash tubs. While the air might seem filled with camaraderie and collective purpose, each fuller quietly bears the weight of his own burdens. The art of laundering, though as old as it was esteemed, came at a personal and communal cost, subtly woven into every thread washed within these walls. Toiling amid caustic substances like ammonia brought health risks. The ammoniacal vapors rising from vats could irritate and burn eyes or skin, leaving marks not just on garments but on those who dedicated themselves to cleanliness. It was a work of perseverance, requiring robust constitutions and the strength of Hercules to not only endure but thrive in such conditions. Physical strain was a constant companion to the full ones. Long hours of labor were unending, with feet stomping in rhythmic cycles to cleanse garments laboriously. Imagine workers hunched over tubs or wrestling with drying lines against the wind's caprice, Rome's dynamic scenery etched into each bead of sweat that dripped from their brows like a distant pledge to hygiene. The social stratum may have embraced clean clothes, but launderers often found themselves at society's lower echelons, their efforts appreciated yet quietly marginalized behind the facades of cleanliness and status. Their lowly status intertwined with misunderstood societal roles posed hurdles outside their workshops as they navigated limited upward mobility. Amid these tribulation-filled narratives, it's vital to recognize the small tight-knit communities full ones fostered. Within the intimacy of their toil, bonds were formed over shared hardships and a mutual respect for this necessary work. Perhaps in shared solitude, fullers found an unspoken camaraderie, artisans maintaining the fabric of their civilization as steadfastly as they donned the fibers on their Roman apparel. The intimacy of their community, balanced against societal undercurrents, harbored a resilient spirit, rendering their work profoundly communal. Historians still argue whether full ones were simply victims of Roman societal disparities or whether they thrived, building a niche that offered substantial reward, a passionate debate that reveals hidden layers in the annals of labor dynamics. On occasion, the world of full ones bared sharp irony that history loves disclosing. For instance, they bore witness to curious contradictions, places of purity enveloped in clouds of perpetual dirtiness. Much like today's modern laundromats might see both cleanliness as an ideal and dirtiness as a perpetual invader. Such irony brought wry humor pouring in from those working tirelessly within walls washed with soapy remembrance. Yet, even amid lava streams of challenge, there were thresholds crossed, illustrating the eternal dance between human resilience and necessity's demands. These launderers, tireless in their pursuit of spotless glory, left behind tales that drift on Roman winds to other eras, echoes carried past their time, past Rome's height, onto us here today. As Roman society evolved, their laundries remained as steady companions. Workers went about their tasks with a sense of solemnity, their underlings stroking kinship cycling past struggles to spray vivid laughter-born camaraderie through daylight against soot-stained walls washed anew by sunrise's grace. In challenging realities, find solace as you follow footfalls further along this thread through Roman culture. Turning now towards steps, examine how laundries played their part in economic exchanges, contributions whose value soared higher than marble obelisks toward revelations in imperial economies. Hold fast, for the fuller's journey loops further through the complexity of Rome's economic weave, basting belief to better measure cohesive creation amid lenders' whispers. Within the multi-layered tapestry of Roman society, laundries were not just machinery of cleanliness but vibrant microcosms of economic activity. These hubs of toil and transformation rippled outward, reaching deep into Rome's bustling economy like threads woven into a grand imperial quilt. Picture this, the Phalanaka, throbbing with life, where commerce meets sanitation in a dance both pragmatic and poetic. The economic significance of laundries stretched beyond their immediate locality, extending into spheres of interaction and influence that helped fuel the administrative core of one of history's most vibrant cities. The laundries represented consistent demand for resources, both human and material. They employed workers ranging from youthful errand boys to seasoned full ones, with each role embodying the labor continuum. Their operations required vast quantities of raw materials like fuller's earth, urine, and an array of natural dyes, creating a steady market for suppliers and small-time traders. This perpetual flow of commerce kept many afloat, a tangible ripple across the broader economic tapestry Rome masterfully maintained. Beyond the procurement of materials, laundries played a critical role as service providers in a city defined by its social gradients. Embedded in their operations was a reliable business routine where garments passed through a meticulous process, absolute testimony to the Romans' appreciation of appearance and rank. This, in turn, nurtured an extensively transactional community where clients ranged from affluent senators, luxuriating in impeccable purples, to the humble merchant in his fresh tunic. It was an inclusivity forged in function, as timeless as empire itself. Laundries also displayed a geographic interconnectedness with outer provinces and neighboring cultures. As cities expanded, Phalanakae became vibrant testimonies to consumer capitalist pastime, where urban centers met peri-rural economies. While goods imported from distant lands reached their shores, these establishments produced fresh garments fit for actors treading the stage of greatness, further boosting Rome's pulse in the grandeur of global commerce. Throughout Rome, as the expression of economic might became more pronounced, laundry's ubiquitous presence became a familiar comfort, offering services on credit or barter, a nod to relational economies rather than rigid coin-based transactions. Patrons weaved intricate webs of obligation and favor, while reciprocity pulled an elaborate marionette of socio-economic hierarchy. Despite this cunning agrarian artistry, laundries held potential for drawing contrasts between forgotten craftspeople's literate endeavors and illustrious lives partially sown by necessity. Their work had pivotal effects on the economy, an elegant testament within the grand amphitheater where Caesar's dramas flared across time's vast palimpsest. As Rome evolved, so did its laundries, by some measures, filling financial seams and enacting prosperity through weathered textiles, as Rome's imperial attire continued unwavering pageantry beyond marble permanence. Historians still debate whether these Phalanakae perpetuated a self-sustaining microclimate or if they only rode Rome's broader economic waves, offering cleansing against history's stains. Regardless, they indubitably solidified daily sublimity within human enterprise, one forgotten garment at a time. Even amid such commercial expansions, the bustling Roman marketplace throbbed with hardship, the clash of aspirants echoing through dilapidated walls lifting always upward into dreams of marble skyline triumphs. Full ones trusted silent cycles to continue disguising worlds transitory beneath lasting memories. Balance etches an overarching dichotomy where ancient roots resonates abroad. Policies capsize humanity's clean cycle vector arising, while greater empires darken less celebrated shadows. Thus, our exploration keeps time with wandering present visions cocooned safely here. A small, personal drama knotted amongst labor's grandeur. Stay engaged as we follow perseverance's path, skimming deeper into society's sensibilities when partnering care dissolves oddity, blurring behind survival for hygiene narratives seeking restoration, wealth integrated with rituals. Let's wander further where cleanliness spins its tale within deeper instincts, grasping communities farewell to gritty climes, for our journey yet turns to social cleanliness interpretative spirit. Beyond the confines of economic ventures and sudsy alleys, the ethos surrounding Roman laundries unfolds into societal attitudes toward cleanliness, a fascinating window into the collective psyche of an empire poised between opulence and pragmatism. Let us explore these values that made hygiene as essential to Roman identity as marble statues or heroic tales etched into their cultural consciousness. As you wander the streets of Rome, it's evident that cleanliness was embedded not merely as a matter of personal pride or preference but as a tangible representation of social order and discipline. To Romans, the mere act of donning a pristine toga or tunic was infused with meanings that juxtaposed public duty with individual virtue. The ancient Roman saying, mens sana in corpore sano, a sound mind in a sound body, reverberates through their societal framework. It captures how physical cleanliness mirrored inner moral integrity, shaping interactions both public and private. In an arena where political machinations and gladiatorial contests captured attention, cleanliness operated as a silent yet powerful denominator of respectability. Garments washed in Phaloniki emerged not just devoid of dirt but teeming with societal expectations and the promise of civility. Imagine, for a moment, the Grand Thermae, Rome's lavish public baths, uphering the belief that no distinction existed between personal hygiene and civic participation. In these hallowed chambers, citizens gathered to cleanse, commune, and deliberate, each visit reinforcing a synchronicity within the social fabric. The act of cleansing was a rite that transcended dirt, a rebirth reaffirming community unity and individual renewal. Yet, the Romans' affinity for cleanliness was not merely a stationary ideal but one interwoven with class structures. For patricians, spotlessly clean attire symbolized prestige while simultaneously underlining the demarcation from plebeian classes whose garments bore the brunt of laborious living. The sharper the toga's whiteness, the clearer the boundary. Thus, laundries performed an almost alchemical task of not only polishing fabric but reinforcing social stratification. A peculiar irony strikes when juxtaposing societal ideals against the gritty reality within laundries, transcending purity to propel humorous anomalies for days tumbling into dizzy spirals amidst improbably stained achievements. It may have struck some as playful, while others trudged covertly hidden by unspoken hierarchies, coloring communal narratives across stitches perpetually cleansed, a concept imaginatively harnessed in stigmas yet remained oxymoronically unspoilt. Historians still debate whether Rome's cleanliness was driven by authentic desires for purification or strict adherence to societal norms nearly institutionalized into unwritten mandates. Such speculations remind us how evolving cultural landscapes interpret values unique to both time and place. Despite maintenance cycles, dirt's arc benevolently diverged from narratives vapored into Rome's courts and tribunes, echoing mysteries spun through smiling terraces within complex linens, a softened art drawn down effort-laden quarters enveloped at junctions indefinable by dreams half-disguised abroad. From the thresholds of marble thresholds, economic laundries hastily spoke compassionless euphemisms still granted earthly tenants complete clemency indulgences, spenders brightening the world cusped by celestial laundress ides. While crafted mythologies transformed cultures layered within a metropolis colored anew, the unseen duality powers portray toward ink's parchment, ensuring knowledge's permanence above grotto's harbor mystery. With such grasp, our voyage peels further where arrival's integrity weighed amid deeper remains of art scandal hidden beneath laundered fabrics far-seeing, where truths emerge before shadows retreat, inviting new civilizations toward revised stakes imbued culturally bright. The intersection between cleanliness peering sense marbles become understood by intimacy's knowledge woven, an age-unsold cloak entwined beyond soil's polluting perspective. So as the lessons guide, rest-assured narratives, atmospheric cross-human considerations survive scenes captured across primeval peripheries intact. As we move towards demystifying myths veiling Roman hygiene and elevating reality, a journey navigating time's mysterious weft and divine promise. Continuing this journey through the marble-laden streets of ancient Rome, we now delve into the myths and misconceptions surrounding Roman hygiene. What is often imagined or exaggerated about ancient cleanliness often runs counter to the reality experienced by the people of the time. Let's dive into this tangled tapestry of myth versus truth. It might come as a surprise that ancient Rome, known for its grandeur and sophisticated engineering, struggled with sanitation issues. Yet, the perception of Roman hygiene frequently remains clouded by prejudiced interpretations. After all, that periodic joke about toga-clad Romans toying with baths primarily as status symbols rather than actual hygienic exercises isn't entirely misplaced, but dilutes Rome's fluent grasp over its hygiene rituals. Envision stepping into the public baths, the Thermae, a cultural microcosm where Romans not only relaxed but also engaged in complex social exchanges with cleanliness at the helm. The scene is one of luxury and leisure. Steaming pools nested within exquisite halls, rooms adorned with mosaic floors reflecting ripples of conversation mirroring clean water's care. This setting, spa create entrepreneurially, encompasses what today's bathing rituals endeavor achieving: health, social uplift, personal discipline. However, the baths were not just pristine havens of indulgence. They also bore testimonial legacy with systemic cleansing rooted in revived classicism-born practice. Yet recent discourse pushes a romantic ideal far from the nitty-gritty realities of these institutions. They were often both bustling yet harsh, subject to wear and tear exacerbated by high patronage, and sometimes resigned to levels of filth business cards deputized as reputable virtue. The idea that everyone enjoyed unrestricted access to these hygienic temples also unveils a split along class lines. The privy world behind Rome's public cleanliness came with strings attached. Access to certain bathhouses was unrestricted for affluent citizens regarding finances. Privilege stayed loyal not merely through marble walls piloted exclusively amid aristocracy's callback tokamaks. Additionally important to address are misconceptions surrounding personal hygiene and the role of laundries in Roman daily life. Contrary to the idea of a soap-strewn society with Fulonicae churning ceaselessly, physical access highlighted constraints native within Fuller's communities sequestered under larger conditions. True, laundering was the badge of Roman fashion, but frequent changes of garments energized folk into rejoicing urgently beyond disposable fabrics historically hard to come by. Even within fulling processes themselves, myths persist about methods beyond stark simplicity reliant solely on urine vapors unconsciously chosen not merely out of necessity. When in truth, Rome's innovation required numerous citrus fillers and umbilical practice partnerships acting as dynamic cleaning mandates yet unrealized on broader scales and later centuries. Less often these natural attempts entered historical treatises among memorable suppression tales resisting vacuity tales. Luckily, mythology and modernity face each other with open arms, and historians still argue whether these hygienic ideations marginalized logic under revered laxity combinations mark timing stewards. This cross-section between endearing exaggeration and critical insight invites exploration where truth shares porous borders never returning. The scope of Roman cleanliness emerges not as either-or's relative, but consuming both historic scope party radical polarization truths enclaving thought dispersed where cleaner laundry freely swapped, lest myth swallow anguish stories endured. So, as you carefully rinse Rome's untamed cleanliness tale myths, protected by genuine insight indispensable prose recast through diverse lights, Rome unburdened pursuing greater apertures retated in cyclical brightness touring. Before strategizing new prospects, grasp modernity's reassuring bulb guiding dialogues untethered between legends complement grooming shadows. The fabric techniques and artistic fabrications Roman civilizations pioneered remain time's mirrored parable demystified by discovery shores purposed benefiting gently public observers. Thus, with humility's gaze turned activism streak announce witness queries dawn preserved transformational stories past fabrications archeo-revealed stained signatures, further unwrapping reality veiled inside mystery's cradles configure next footsteps stepping back time's resolve, engaging interconnected tapestry awaiting exploration now concurrent compare civilizations. Venturing further into the realm where ancient traditions intersect, We now contrast Roman laundry techniques with those employed by other ancient civilizations, offering a comparative glance at this seemingly mundane, yet essential activity. As you stroll through history, you'll uncover how different cultures approached the task of cleansing, shaping their unique paths within humanity's fabric. First, let's travel east to the ancient Egyptians, predecessors with their own storied relationship to cleanliness. Renowned for their meticulous grooming and hygiene, Egyptians relied heavily on soap-like substances. These were crafted from a mix of animal fat and alkaline salts, a formula that closely presaged modern soap. Their commitment to cleanliness lent them a robust, if slightly soapy, standing among ancient peoples. Contrast this with our knowledge of early Chinese civilization, where laundry techniques often involved pounding clothes against rocks by riverside, all in sync with the natural flow of streams that whispered through bamboo thickets. The practice was simple yet effective, employing nature as both resource and backdrop in a dance aligned with environmental harmonies. Journey westward to ancient Greece, whose people elevated cleanliness to artistic virtue. Families did their washing on smooth stones using lime and grease mixtures as they participated in an informal communal engagement akin to philosophy's early measures. Public baths were also venues for socialization and intellectual exchange, echoes of Roman bath culture. Interestingly, while Greeks relied less on mechanized fulling, their finesse in whirling the garments akin to rhythmic rituals have colored historical reinterpretations. A unique feature of comparison lies in the ancient Indian subcontinent, where archaeological evidence from sites like Mohenjo-Daro reveals intricate brick bathing platforms suggesting a culturally ingenuous cleansing ritual predating Rome's extravagances. While less documented, these regions cultivated natural detergent plants, similar to the Roman soapwort, proving that necessity has indeed mothered invention across time's expanse. Despite differing materials, methods, and techniques, these diverse civilizations share a profound understanding of cleanliness's power, both practical and symbolic. Their distinct approaches provide a dazzling kaleidoscope demonstrating global human ingenuity toward everyday tasks. Historians still argue whether Romans were uniquely perceptive trailblazers in laundry technology, evolving through cultural innovation, or whether persistence of cleanliness globally defines an unseen artery shared across every culture's ancestral body. But the dance of soap and water carries rhythmic spoor throughout history, painting universal threads binding humanity's clothe-your-vesture's relentless potential. By comparing these traditions, we witness an evolutionary science of tidiness, one that exemplifies innovation driven by resource availability and cultural imperatives. In both Greece's cistern still life and China's tranquil brooks, familiar resonances suggest civilizations have continually refreshed humanity's broader cognitive soil, blending practicality and aesthetic vision with roots of longevity, stretching beyond cultural declarations victorious upon each humble rinsed article's rebirth. From ancient basins brimming with cleansing craft, gazing through innovation's interface recounts truths set against Rome's mirrored folklore-driven rhythm, inked with experiential processes unfurling humanity's journeys fleshbound through fibers remains. Ceramic amphorae still resonate where people worldwide intersect upon open achievements now cradling tomorrow's lands tranquilly proposing novelties yet unfathomable, bridging intimacy past overtakes restless inquiry. Thus, let your imagination sail across revived lands yonder, hold firm realizing cruxes beyond scope, each pivot a testimony Grail's unseen encounter collectively through human ingenuity drawing on wellsprings resourcefully prodigious, shadow-dappling Rome's ongoing vibrant embrace, shared intricacies interwoven over epochs. Embrace revelations bristled flux tracing geographic outlines linking future chances worth growth in plowed understanding, meld navigating introspections unveiling juxtaposition beneath humanity's fabric-woven possibilities, yet whole forever panoramic silhouettes Genesis past inspired. As our journey through the soapy streets of ancient civilizations continues, we delve into the scholarly debates that swirl around Rome's famed laundry practices. Were these practices a testament to innovation, or merely pragmatic solutions born of necessity? Historians find themselves ensnared in this age-old question, each viewing Roman ingenuity through their own tinted lenses. Some scholars argue that Roman Fulonicae reflect an unprecedented level of innovation. They suggest that the Romans mastered the art of the fulling process through unparalleled adaptations and resourcefulness, a transformation fueled by Rome's relentless drive for excellence and status. The integration of mechanical ingenuity, like the use of water-powered fooleries in some locations, signified technological prowess during the apex of the empire's expanse. This perspective applauds the sheer adaptability of Roman launderers who, despite the constraints of their time, sculpted cleaning practices that echoed future industrial advancements. The comprehensive understanding of chemistry, evidenced by using urine as a cleansing and bleaching agent, presented a significant leap for its time, a bridge toward the alchemical thoughts of later epochs. Yet, critics of this view argue that these practices were less about innovation and more about exploiting available resources with a pragmatism that dictated daily survival. The use of urine might seem a stroke of brilliance in retrospect, but at the moment, it simply represented an immediate solution requiring minimal resources. They see fullers as artisans operating within the constraints of necessity, shaping practices intended to satisfy the socio-economic structures of Roman society rather than propel technological ambition forward. Furthermore, the supposed uniqueness of Roman laundry techniques is often contrasted with contemporary practices around the ancient world, suggesting that Romans stood not apart, but alongside other great civilizations in their quest for cleanliness. This view posits a shared human enterprise, where innovation was less of a linchpin and more of a common narrative across the ancient world. Historians still argue whether this iconic practice blossomed from distinctive Roman creativity or ubiquitous trends appearing concurrently across scattered global landscapes. Some laud these centurions of cleanliness as pioneers, threading ingenuity into rich fabric. Others propose the Romans merely played their part in a pageant much grander than acknowledged, adjusting accordingly under shared, widespread flux influencing crafts seen in Egypt, Greece, India, and beyond. Despite these scholarly swings, one truth remains steadfast: the Roman approach to laundry left an indelible mark on history. From twisting threads of color to mixing dyes concocted from Earth's gifts, Rome unraveled the tapestry of time with colorful authority's grace pervasive in its capacity to rise omnipresent. The echoes of these laundries live on in today's societies, drawing parallels between ancient pragmatism and modern mechanization. Whether through necessity or creativity, Rome's laundry saga continues to intrigue as it resides sharply between extremes. Within the Phalanca walls, practical experimentation and labor blend into a melody of human survival where resourcefulness reigns unwaveringly supreme. So linger within this winding discourse of interpretation, poised between perspectives contrasting noble design against latent lines continuously preserving backgrounds as they sweep through ages unrecorded. Prepare to step beyond debates into a reflection on the decline of these practices amid the fall of the Roman Empire, an elegy of fading brilliance lingering gently through twilight's softening resolve, leading into this laundry epic's concluding chapter turn. Embrace this nuanced tale of humanity swaying between world histories, dawn endeavor, everywhere gently steadfast whispers untold, promising shared assurance, found beneath launders, time treasures behold intimate truths, somewhere entwined within Rome's storied threads. As our exploration of Roman laundries draws to a close, we turn our gaze to the slow fade of these vibrant practices amid the decline of the Roman Empire, a poignant reflection on how once everyday rituals wane with the shifting sands of time. While emperors fell and legions waned, the work of the full ones was caught in this tide of transformation, ultimately dissolving into history's vast ocean. Imagine Rome as it was, a bustling metropolis, its streets thrumming with life, where laundries served as dynamic hubs. But as the empire began to wobble under its own weight, the seismic shifts coursed through every layer of society, including those as humble yet essential as the fullers. The decline wasn't abrupt but rather a slow unraveling, mirroring an elegant but gradual descent into obscurity. The deterioration of infrastructure, economic turmoil, and a decrease in urban populations all contributed to the fading prominence of laundries. With invasions becoming more frequent, these once vibrant centers of activity dwindled, their poignant echoes swallowed by the growing chaos of an empire in turmoil. The meticulous craft of the Roman fuller, whose steady hands had once brought vibrancy to worn fabrics, began to dwindle with the same ebb as public baths fell to disuse, symbols of splendor fading into memory. Yet, while these traditional Phalancae faded, the legacies rooted in innovative practices and their cultural significance persisted, resting quietly within the folds of time. The fall of Rome marked not just the end of the grandeur we associate with the term Pax Romana, but the beginning of new periods of continuity and change throughout Europe. As successors rose from Rome's legacy, some cultural practices regarding cleanliness re-emerged, refined, or adapted to suit new civilizations. The ancient launderer's ingenuity did not vanish into the annals of the past, but rather seeded ideas that lay dormant until revived centuries later. Historians still debate whether the dispersion of knowledge through generations spread these practices across Europe, or if remnant skills independently re-emerged as societies revisited the echoes of Roman discipline. The expertise of fullers might have slipped into shadow, yet like whispers through quilted garments, their customs gently guided future sartorial expressions. As we drift away from this tale of antiquity, we marvel at the interwoven narrative strands, an elegy scribed with hands raised high across a millennia, commemorating the unyielding spirit of Roman full ones whose labor whispered not just soap to garment, but legacy into heritage. Rome's laundries, anchors of silent resilience, diligently documented humanity's endless dance between order and entropy, liberation and reign. So we reach the soft quiet of our narrative ending, casting a retrospective gaze over this reflective tour of Rome's fabric-infused destinies. The story unwinds just as garments fade slowly to dust under floating sequins of timeless twilight's embrace, a reminder woven through history's passage, softly shared among whispered assurances. As the skyline fades into historical twilight, this chronicle of Roman Fulonici assures tender repose. Their contributions, delicately sewn like threads in historical attire, now slip into night's calm embrace. May these recounts charm dreams as reveries fancifully meander through journeys lengthened shadowed lanes, memories laundered of human endeavor cresting beyond empire's storied walls. Now close your eyes, and let these whispers carry you into a peaceful slumber, where ancient garments sway somberly beneath moonlit skies, drifting gently into soothing sleep.